Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I was really looking forward to being able to put this presentation together. And yes, the last couple of months have been quite busy. So we've had to delay a couple of times, but definitely excited. And I think I'm also in a better position to be able to really reflect on the experience that I had, because it's definitely a different experience that many had during the pandemic, and one that I'll remember for the rest of my life. That's for sure. So I'll start by kind of just introducing myself. My name is Austin. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and I first came out to Denver on a swimming scholarship at the University of Denver, where I studied fine arts. In my life, swimming and art have always been the two passions that have existed, and the two things that I spend the most time in my life. When I graduated the University of Denver, it's quite hard to find substantial work in the arts right away. So I began coaching, and that has led me into a pretty intense career in coaching swimming. I coach for the University of Denver swim club program. So it's an 18 and under program that is, ranked nationally. So the demand of coaching is quite high. But I'll kind of start to lead you into the couple weeks that preceded this breakthrough mural that I created that went viral and got a ton of national attention. So we were, as in my life as a coach, going into one of our biggest competitions. And I think everybody can relate to every day it seemed like there was so much change happening and things shutting down, and the pandemic hitting and things changing. Well, we ended up having our big competition canceled. It was incredibly devastating, as that was something that we were working towards as athletes and as a coach, and it was kind of taken away from us, and we then were not able to access the building for practices. And so my sort of life in a lot of ways changed drastically, or the availability that I had to spend my time quite changed. So we're in lockdown, and I had probably about 5 days of the typical quarantine life where, I didn't have a lot to do at home. But during that time, I was also starting to get quite inspired in the arts. I had not had full days on my own to really dive into art in the way that I did during this time, with the coaching kind of going to a stop. So meanwhile, I'm, kind of inspired and in art and challenged by the circumstances that we're in. My brothers are 3 doctors, and their wives are 3 nurses. So the healthcare community is incredibly special to me. So I felt like during this time, I really wanted to start to create some imagery around what was happening currently in this moment. So I started doing some drafting, some drawings, and meanwhile, my landlord that I rent for had this building that he had just bought on Colfax. And I'd been dying to do a mural on this wall for actually about a year. So I started doing some drafting, and you can see here in this next slide, the beginning stages of me creating the Healthcare Hero image. It started with just a line drawing and a concept. And what I really wanted to encompass in this message was the fight, the battle of the pandemic. And then I also wanted to display that they're kind of our modern day angels right now. And so I think this juxtaposition of the fight and the beauty, and kind of really highlighting the image of the healthcare worker, made it special and really hit home with a lot of people, which I'll talk a little bit more about here in a little bit. So I got approval from my landlord. I sent him the design. He loved it. This was a self-funded piece, and I just had the time and was excited about painting and wanted to do a mural. This is only at this time, my third mural that I had done. Work is brand new to me. As my last 8 years in coaching, I continue to pursue the arts, but more as like a hobby and as a passion. And no matter if I make money or make momentum in art or not, it's just part of my life. It's like my religion. So I continued that passion, but being able to have a little bit more time was definitely super inspiring. So this is me on the weekend of Easter, starting this mural. This is Friday night, and I am projecting my line to really get it down really well and be able to organize exactly where I want the image. So this is just a little bit of a process pick. Well, by the end of Easter, I completed the mural. So I spent 2 days on it. And this is a really great memory photo of kind of a moment in time. So I think all of you could probably reflect and remember the 8 p.m. howling that was happening, which was in respect for the healthcare workers that were doing such amazing work during this time. And so I think that this was like particularly special. This was Sunday night. You can see my car parked here. That's where I just finished up, wrapped up the mural. And you can see over here in the corner, it is 8 p.m. So as I'm looking at my finished product, I'm hearing howling from across the whole city of Denver. So kind of a special moment in time, and definitely one that I think that we can all reflect on and think about. So little did I know that this would become kind of a national sensation. It would shortly go viral. I'll start here. This is another, before I get into kind of how it went national, I'll go ahead and share this time lapse of the creation, which this time lapse was a piece of what helped make it go viral. There's a number of media that picked up this video, and it's actually also been featured in a number of different videos, even a Lay's potato chip commercial. And this was just the time lapse of the building of this piece. So over the weekend, that Saturday, I did actually already start to get a little bit of media attention. There was Channel 4 that came by and saw that I was working on this piece and actually interviewed me and followed me. So this was the first time that I've ever been like featured on TV for art. So it was quite special and quite exciting, and I was really thrilled with the reception that I got, but really it was still pretty quiet at that point. Well, I'd say about Tuesday or Wednesday the following week, all of a sudden it started getting picked up by a number of national organizations. So you'll see CBS Morning, CBS News, tons of followers, and the Denver Post start posting this image. And I get information that it's going viral on Twitter, all these different social media outlets that I don't even use. People are just like, hey, everyone's really loving this piece. So it was really quite exciting, and something that one of my goals as an artist has always been more about opportunity for people to see my work rather than making money for my work. And I would guess that through this process, at least millions of people have seen this image, whether it's in person or online. That's kind of the level of popularity that this kind of got brought out there. So for me, that's incredibly special and something that I did not anticipate, which was pretty exciting. Well, as all this was happening, it really inspired me and got me excited about mural work and things that I could do. I had a number of people reach out to me, a number of doctors with very special notes just about how encouraging the image was, and how meaningful it was to them. So again, I'm in this state of life where I have a lot more time on my hands. So it kind of led into some other projects. The first thing that I did was create a digital image of the piece, because I wanted to be able to get this image out there as much as possible. So I started with creating prints, which happened to actually be through the group of people that helped get me my first mural. So it was really special to be able to reconnect with like-minded prints and do prints with them. And what I wanted to do is get these prints. What I was hearing was that this was really an inspirational image. So when I released these prints, what I did was, for every 10 prints that sold, I sent a print to a hospital that asked to receive a print. Well, it turned out that over 300 prints sold, so I was able to send 30 prints over to hospitals across the Colorado, and many more were given out as well. But that started leading into some other partnerships. So right here on the right, you'll see the image started going on wine bottles. So the first partnership that I connected with was with Bixby's Winery. And Marla, who owns Bixby's, was really excited about the image, and she decided that she wanted to run a campaign to give some love to healthcare workers. So she decided that she would give free pints of wine to any healthcare worker that visited the winery. That was a pretty incredible experience to see the amount of volume of healthcare workers that went in to get their free pint was truly incredible. Over 3,000 wine pints were given out in a 4-week, 5-week window. This was to the point where Marla was going to every Target across Colorado to buy all the pint glasses that she could to continue on with this request. So in addition, we also created these wine bottles for sale, which helped partially fund some of the funds for the free pint glasses that we were giving out. And it was really quite amazing to see the energy that was happening in that winery. Before this, every restaurant was in their transition phase, and definitely there was a slow and your usual set of hours. And once this came out, that place was as busy as ever. So it was quite fun, and then it actually led to a couple of murals on the Bixby's wall as well. So the second collaboration that kind of came about, and this would be my second mural, came from the RiNo District. So Marla helped set me up with a couple of individuals in the RiNo District, Tracy, president. And one morning, maybe a week after, I get this text and is like, hey, this is the president of RiNo. We have a wall, a lift. Are you interested in painting? And for an artist that's interested in public work, that was the best news that I could possibly hear. I was so incredibly excited, and I already had an image that I was ready to produce. So this is my second healthcare worker that I did. This is me progress shot on the lift. I think this is actually kind of funny because I did not inform these guys, but I had never driven a lift before. I had no idea how to operate a lift. So prior to this, I was doing YouTube videos on how do I operate this thing? Well, it was easy, and this was the second image that I created. And I just wanted to show a little more diversity in the healthcare profession, and really make sure that I was supporting all healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, and all cultures as well. So that then led to the third image, which this is a really fun piece. I actually did not know Andrea at El Posto until all of this went down. But the RiNo community is like, you got to know this guy. He's really fun. He's really awesome. And that's what kind of inspired my third mural. So this was the first time where I was branching out and wanting to show love and appreciation for other professions. And the profession that I wanted to highlight right here is the chef and kind of the restaurants that were also having quite a bit of challenge during this time. You know, I think there was many people that had to change the way that they were operating, change the way that they were working, and still working every day just as hard. So I felt like it was a good opportunity to start to show love to other people in the community. This is a phrase that he says often. He actually, so it really adds to it. And it was a collaboration with Robin Monroe, who is one of the creators of Crush. So this, for me, was all new. I'm a very new mural artist, and then to be able to make all these incredible connections and get this media attention was actually quite overwhelming at times, but super exciting and special. So along the way, my image started to extend past just the US and national, and it started getting broadcasts in Italy. And this was actually a really special project along the way. So Sylvia from Grazie magazine reached out to me, and she's like, your image of the nurse in the boxing gloves was really inspiring. Would you be interested in doing a magazine cover? And this was such an incredible moment for me, because I'd never been an artist on top of a magazine cover, let alone a popular one in another country. It was, yes, of course, I'm all in. But to put a little perspective in, I've been doing a mural every single weekend since that healthcare piece. I'm trying to reach back to a number of news outlets on interviews, etc. And I'm just taking in as many projects as I can. But this was one that I thought was really special, and one that I definitely wanted to participate in. So her pitch was basically that during this time, you know, women's rights in Italy were starting to get better, but when the pandemic hit, there was a lot of push for women to stay at home and to take care of the kids and keep them educated. And it started interfering with some of the momentum they were gaining in professional workspaces. So she wanted to show a little bit of fight and show that this was not acceptable, like that women needed to have equal opportunities as men, and that the momentum cannot change just because of this pandemic. So in this magazine cover, you'll see a Italian woman with boxing gloves, and this is kind of like showing the fight of you know, keeping equal rights in Italy. So I thought it was also incredibly special for me to be a part of that project as well. To the right of this image is another image that was part of the magazine, and I wanted to show all the incredible roles that women play. And so right here, you know, you'll see that she's got the baby bottle, she's nursing, taking care of the kids. You have the book to show kind of the intellect of the woman. You have the briefcase to kind of show the work of the woman. You got the boxing gloves showing the fight. And then you have the mop because she's taking care of and cleaning. And then you have the perfume kind of showing like her feminism and her beauty. So it was a really fun, special project. And I really appreciated that interaction. So with every mural that I did a digital image and was able to, be able to spread the message even more through that easily digital image, which led to some more momentum in the healthcare piece. So for a while, to be completely honest, I was feeling a little bit of I don't know, challenged with finding the success at a time where a lot of people were, suffering and, having challenges in their life. And I wanted to make sure that I was giving back as much as I could. I couldn't quite keep up with the demand of healthcare workers that were asking for, I want this image on t-shirts, books, etc. And so I made a decision to release the image for free to be reproduced in any way that people would like. I initially wanted to just release it with no parameters. Anybody can reproduce this, but I got some good advice from like-minded, the print people that did my prints, and said, well, you should contact a lawyer at least and discuss this with him. So I reached out to a lawyer, and he gave me great advice, and we were able to kind of just organize the release of the image and release the image for good intentions for healthcare workers to use as inspiration and to use to create funds for the COVID-19 research. So I felt good being able to just let a group of nurses make a bunch of t-shirts that made them excited to go to work and not have to control that and make money off of it. So that was actually a big, really exciting for me to be able to just give that out and not have to keep up with the demands of controlling that image. Next to this, you'll see Lamar broadcasted the two images over 100 billboards across the nation. And I actually had family members in Missouri that saw this, so it was quite cool. So this slide here is a slide of all the murals that I produced during this time. And I didn't really actually know how to get murals before all this happened, and realize all the ways that you can get murals. And each one is a little bit different. So these top murals, we have the server and the delivery bike driver. Those were reached out from Cherry Creek. And it was quite cool to be able to get a couple murals in Cherry Creek, because it is an area that doesn't have a ton of public work. And the Cherry Creek bid reached out to me for that mural. This one in the middle here, this was actually done on somebody's garage, which I thought was awesome. And he individually reached out to me and wanted a gratitude mural. So yeah, before I get too crazy on each individual one, I started a theme of work called Walls of Gratitude, where I wanted to highlight different professions that were struggling or challenged during this time. And really, I wanted to just make sure that everybody felt the love and support of what they were doing, because yes, of course, it's easy to highlight the healthcare workers and definitely very incredibly important. But there were also a lot of other people that were working hard and working different during this time. So in the middle there is a sanitation worker. This is one of my favorite pieces that I did. I wanted to show support to the sanitation workers. Over here, I have a teacher. This was done at Bixby's Winery. And to the other side is also done at Bixby's. This was a first responder piece. And then down here, I have a construction worker. The construction piece was quite fun too, because it was actually at a construction company site. So that piece is definitely going to be viewed by those group of people on a regular basis. So the other staple within my work is my pointillism dot style. So I figured I'd give a little bit of a slide to highlight and show kind of how the process of that. So there is definitely a theme of my work in this gratitude series, but there is also a theme of my work in the pointillism style. And the neat aspect of this style that I've created and I've worked on for a number of years is it became kind of a trademark in the imagery that I was creating, to the point where I've done some murals and have not signed my name on them, and people still know that they're my murals. But that has been another process in how I got that media attention was through Instagram and by signing my name on these murals. So it became a very interactive thing. And during the time of the pandemic, a lot of people were kind of like, sheltered in their houses. Some people made it outside, and public artwork was a media that you could easily, experience in a safe way. So I think that there was this balance of, opportunity of the image being really popular, but then also it was one thing that you could do that was safe. So then that led to, this was another mural that I did. I just had to throw it out there. I've continuously added dogs as I've gone. This is a veterinarian. But anyways, what it led to is people going on scavenger hunts to see every single mural that I've done. So I have built a website that shows a map of every mural that I've done in the Gratitude series. And there's a number of people that have spent their Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons visiting each piece and embracing each piece and taking pictures of it. So it was this incredibly fun, interactive opportunity that was happening during this time as well. So I could probably go for, I feel like, another hour, but that's a good wrap up of my unusual experience of COVID and my opportunity as an artist to really get moving.
Thank you, Austin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is I don't know, I was just very excited before we started, and I'm Italian, I know you are half Italian, so we have like this indirect connection. So it was also inspiring for me to see like the Grazia piece on the cover, because I know how hard has been all the pandemic for our country. So I think you should be one of the hero angel here because like you're giving back. So I hope today we are like kind of give you back something with this episode. Guys, if anyone has question, there is the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. Just click there and you can write your question live for here. We have one actually. What advice would you give another artist going through what you went through in terms of rapid viral fame?
What advice would you give an artist? What was the last part?
To another artist that is going through what you went through in terms of the rapid viral fame?
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is an interesting thing, because in my mind I was like, I don't want to be like a sellout. I want to be authentic with my approach. So I guess the advice that I would give is just to concentrate on the body of work that you're doing and not get too caught up in the media aspects and maybe the attention that is happening. And I think that for me, I kind of just poured myself into the work and continuing it on. I could have probably easily just done the one healthcare image and kind of sat back and did a lot with just that one image. But for me, I think I had to distract myself by doing more work. And I also wanted to create some momentum out of it. It had been a goal of mine to do more public work. So this was a perfect outlet and opportunity for that to happen.
And thank you for that, because I think a lot of time when people just stop to whatever is the easiest. So just the fact that you continue to fight and you push yourself to do more is, it says a lot about yourself.
Thank you.
We have another question from Julie. She asked, did you go to art school, and where did you learn?
Yeah, so I did go to art school. So I went to art school in the University of Denver. and I studied Bachelor's of Fine Arts. And what I would say is, I think that school is incredibly important and valuable. I love my education because I was able to learn a number of different aspects in art. So I studied sculpture, printmaking, oil painting, a number of different mediums. So it's really inspiring. However, I think the best advice that I would give in terms of really working the craft is don't stop, because I guess from what I understand, there's a stat out there that over 50% of artists that go to art school do not even pursue art after that. And obviously, as I introduced myself, I was able to make steady income through coaching, but I never stopped creating. I've created thousands and thousands of paintings over the last 10 years. And I think that's what kind of made all of this special, is I was ready for it. I had the time, and I had built the craft, and I had been working on it for a long time. So when I had the opportunity to create more pieces, I was ready. I was prepared. I had worked on it. So with anything in life, practice is so incredible and makes such a difference. So just do it and keep working at it, and that's the best way to get better.
Was actually the first time that you were painting on a building?
The first time was just a year and a half ago, and it was in the RiNo District, a wall portrait of Kendrick Lamar, and it was a really fun piece, and it was the first time that I used spray paint. But I'm a painter, and I have been painting for 10 years, and the pointillism style that I've used, I've been doing for the last 6 years. So I transferred that into mural work and the spray paint medium. And I think that was maybe another aspect that I appreciated about college and learning different mediums was I could usually pick up a different medium and work with it pretty quickly and get to know it and work with it. So the healthcare piece was just my third mural. And since then, I've done 15 over the last 2 months, 3 months. So I was doing a mural every single weekend for 9 weekends straight, took a couple of weeks off, and now I'm back to quite a bit of public work, which it's still my biggest passion. So really exciting to continue on.
So I have another question for you. From a technical point of view, when you decide to do a mural of this scale, like, do you need permissions, or like how do you pick a wall? How do you make sure it lasts and someone is not gonna get angry?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I think there's a number of ways that you can get the opportunity to do a wall. The first mural that I did not get paid for. And the healthcare worker image that I did not get paid for. Those were just self-funded passion projects. But I did get permission from the building owners. So that is, I would say, the easiest route in doing a mural is having permission of the building owner. There's other ways that you can get murals. There's public art grants. There's online applications. I would say that Instagram was an incredible platform because I tagged my Instagram handle on every mural, and then people liked it and started reaching out for work. So the sanitation worker was just somebody that had a garage space and wanted to pay me to hit a mural. The veterinarian I did was the same thing. So I learned a lot actually in this process and how to get a mural. And there's a lot of different ways, but the main one I would say to give advice is talk to the building owner and talk about funding, because obviously as an artist you can't self-fund every single mural project. There's funding is really important, and that is one thing that I got better at, was not being afraid to ask for funding. What's your budget? What is there funding? Is there opportunity? And then you can kind of evaluate and make decisions on what makes sense. There's been, out of those 20 murals, half of them I got paid for, the other half I did not get paid for. But I will say that the ones that I did not get paid for created opportunity and funds in other ways. And it for me, it's a passion. But I think it is important to think about sustainability and funding. So yeah, those are the things that I would say is talk to the building owner and ask for funding.
So we have another question from you, from Bo. He said, what are your plans for the future as an artist?
Yeah, so I really just want to continue this public artwork mission that I'm on. I want to explore other aspects in my craft. So certainly during the pandemic, 13 of the walls that I created were kind of in one genre, one specific, style. So now that I've made some breakthroughs, I want to explore a little bit of different techniques and messages in my walls. So I want to grow the aesthetic of what I'm doing, also start to grow the messages, and just continue to get work. I'm really kind of excited. I have 2 hospital murals coming up. So this weekend I'll be doing a mural at a hospital, and then next week I'm visiting Denver Health and looking at a couple of walls there. And then I also have a big mural that I'm doing in Clement Park over the next couple of weeks as well. So I think another maybe aspect is get some of my work out there in other places. If you take a look at my website, you'll see in the maps, all the murals are pretty Denver Central located. So I would love the opportunity to do some murals in potentially Boulder, Colorado Springs. I'm doing one in Lakewood upcoming. So to start to venture out too, and it would be really special and incredible to do some public work outside of the state of Colorado as well.
How long does it take to do a mural as average? And do you like having maybe people watching you while you are in action, or you are more like a solo artist?
Yeah, so that's funny. I'm kind of an introvert at heart, but and the coaching helps keep me social. But the mural work is kind of amazing because it's this totally different aspect. It is a community aspect, and a lot of these I would get people that were following me on Instagram and visiting while I was working on the piece, and it actually got to a point where I stopped sharing when I was working because it was a little overwhelming. I was so incredibly appreciative of the support, but I also just didn't want to be rude. And when somebody would come by, I'd like to be able to interact with them. If I was just interacting with people all day, I would not be able to get the piece done. So as you started the question, the mural takes as long as it can take as little as like a day and as long as 3 days. And partly it depends on how distracted I am during the process or how big the mural is. But I think it depends on my availability as well. The first piece that I did when I was coaching a lot, it took me a month, not total in time, but I just had little windows here and there that I was working on it. But these other ones that I did, I would usually try to knock out in 1 to 3 days.
Great. So guys, if anyone has questions, let me know. Otherwise, I have one for you. Considering that you start as a swim coach and now you are in this transition phase to like mural artist, and then maybe fulfilling your dreams of when you were younger, are you actually ready to do the switch and go full-time designing?
Yeah, yes, I'm definitely in a crossroads in my life right now. I'm incredibly passionate about coaching. I really love working with kids and the generation below me. And as I said earlier, I can be an introvert at times. So my biggest fear was like if I was a full-time artist, I would just grow a beard and never leave my house for like a year. But I found that that wasn't totally the case when I got into this public work. I found myself connecting with the art community quite a bit and making a lot of friends and connections. So it definitely brought me out of my house. That's something that I'm just working on day by day. I'm figuring out right now, can I be a full-time coach and full-time artist? I don't think it's sustainable, but maybe I can find a balance that's a little bit less coaching, a little bit more art. But that's definitely my biggest, I guess, challenge in my life right now, and one that I'm trying to figure out day by day. But I'm too loyal to the kids that I coach. I think they'd be upset if I left them.
Maybe you can find a way to do both at the same time. Maybe create some like mural for the kids or for the swim team.
It's actually funny. So during the time, during the pandemic, we were not able to host practices. So actually the athletes that I coach all would come and watch me paint. And it was so fun for me just to like hear them banter in the background while I was working. I didn't even have to entertain them. I would just hear them entertaining themselves in the back. So yes, I agree. I think there's got to be some sort of combination that I can keep up with.
So I want to say thank you again for like today. This was like an awesome conversation. And guys, the event has been recorded. So after either later today or tomorrow, you're gonna get a recap email. So you are gonna have Austin contact, so you can like write him. Probably don't go to see him live, or if you go, like, don't disturb him too much. But I would suggest you go on his website and check these murales. Maybe we can do a graffiti tour in the future with the AIJ and our member, and we go to see all your spot together. So thank you again. I think you have been our hero for today. Thank you for giving back to the community. And pandemic has been very devastating for like everyone, but I think in certain cases it's kind of like there are also some positive upcoming from it, and you are an example. And so thank you so much for what you have done, what you're doing, and let's keep fighting all together.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you again, and have a great day, everyone.